Lots of jobs we go to where an established garden has been there for a number of years, they have like an area that would have been a pond. This is like a little pond graveyard. There's a bit of a pond at the top, there's a channel of a stream, or what was a stream, and then at the bottom there was a pond which you can see by the planting would have had more water in it, but over time the liner has degenerated, the pump has broken, so it's just really an unloved feature. So what you can do with these is plant it up in a different style. Now I'm not suggesting turning this back into a pond because that is a huge job, and actually it's pretty fake. So this would make a great bog garden. So if you want it to be really boggy and quite lush, holding a lot of water, you can just literally improve the soil in there and add more. Or you could puncture the liner with a fork, give it some drainage and use it as a bog garden for things like hostas and primulas, that kind of thing. And then all of this area here, once it's de-weeded, you could plant similar stuff throughout it, ligularias, anything like that that loves damp conditions, and then do like a dry riverbed. There's a great famous garden, East Rushton Wall Gardens, which has these dry riverbeds, and they're just cobbles, and they've actually got arid plants in them because it isn't going to get any water in there. So you could do some arid planting, and that really messes with your head. The great bit here is when this water would have exited to the other side, and I'm going to show you now what we could do with that. And here is where the water would run down. You've got this area which clearly still has a liner in it because it's holding water. There's a really kind of nice feel down here. It's very damp, there's lots of mosses, you've got this duckweed, which I think is really pretty, and there's lots of opportunities for plants to grow that aren't growing in the full sun up there. All of these ferns, this is a beautiful native fern, Asplenum scolopendrum. We plant it a lot, but here, where it's growing in moss on rocks, it's so happy because it's just seeded in itself. And it's really naturalistic looking. I love the way that this ace is just dangling over what would have been a kind of quite bare rockery area. It's just really softened it, and although this needs some rejuvenation and a bit of weeding, it actually feels like a really special place. Now once this fills up with water in the winter, because we're on a clay soil, it then overflows down here, which would have been part of the old stream. So this area we're going to rebrand a rain garden because when it's wet this will fill up with water. So you've still got things like the irises that like nice damp conditions, and I'm going to suggest just extending it because this bit of grass here gets really muddy and sticky in the winter, but we can carve out the grass here, we get a nice path there, and then we can plant this up with some moisture loving plants like primulas.